In the grand and glittering kingdom of Persia, there lived a king named Xerxes. He had a magnificent palace, gardens full of sweet-smelling flowers, tall, whispering trees. The walls were hung with beautiful tapestries, and the floors shone like mirrors. But inside this splendid palace, a secret was hiding. The king needed a new queen, so he sent out a message to all the land. The most beautiful young women were brought to the palace, so the king could choose. It was a time of excitement and mystery, a grand parade of loveliness. But behind all the smiles and sparkling jewels, something important was about to happen, something no one could have ever guessed. Among the young women was one named Esther. She was very beautiful, yes, but her heart was even more beautiful. It was full of kindness and a quiet strength. But Esther had a secret, a big secret. She was a Jew, one of God's special people. Her wise cousin, Mordecai, who had raised her, had told her, "Don't tell anyone where you come from, not yet. Be brave and keep it hidden in your heart." While Queen Esther was learning to live her new life, a dark shadow began to creep across the sunny land of Persia. This shadow had a name, Haman. He was a very important man in the king's court, proud and cruel. The king had made him the most powerful official in the whole kingdom. Everyone was commanded to bow whenever Haman passed. Mordecai, Esther's cousin, would not bow. He would only bow to God, his one true king. Haman's heart filled with hot, boiling anger. It wasn't enough that just Mordecai wouldn't bow. Haman wanted to punish all of his people. Haman's heart grew darker and colder. He went to King Xerxes with a wicked plan, his words like poison dripping into the king's ear.
There is a certain group of people scattered throughout your kingdom. They follow their own laws and do not obey you, O king. They are a danger to us all. We must get rid of them.
The king, who trusted Haman, did not ask which people he meant. He gave Haman his special ring, the one used to make laws. With that ring, Haman wrote a terrible decree. On a certain day, all the Jewish people, men, women, children, the terrible news spread like fire through the streets. When Esther read the message and the terrifying law, a cold fear gripped her heart. She was the queen, yes, but even the queen was not safe. There was another law in Persia. No one could go to see the king without being called, not even her. Anyone who broke this law could be put to death, unless the king held out his golden scepter. Esther hadn't been called in a whole month. What if he was angry? What if he didn't hold out his scepter? Her secret was her only shield, but now Mordecai was asking her to risk everything. Her hands trembled as she wrote, "If I go without being invited, I could die. How can I help if I am gone?" Her heart felt as small and fragile as a butterfly's wing. But Mordecai sent another message.
Do not think that because you are in the palace, you alone will escape. If you stay silent now, help will arise from elsewhere. But you and your family will be lost. Who knows? Perhaps you were made queen for such a time as this.
For 3 long days and 3 dark nights, Queen Esther and her people prayed. For courage, for wisdom, and for mercy. The palace was quiet as Esther prepared her heart. When the 3 days were over, she put on her most beautiful royal robes. Each jewel she wore was like a little prayer. Each step was a step of bravery. Her heart was beating like a drum, boom, boom, boom. Yet she kept walking. She was a queen with a mission from the true king. Would he be angry? Would this be her last moment? When he saw Queen Esther, his heart softened. Then he held out his golden scepter, a sign of welcome, a sign of life.
What is it, Queen Esther? What is your request, even up to half of my kingdom?
But Esther was wise. She had a careful plan.
If it pleases the king, I would like you and Haman to come to a special banquet today.
The king was delighted and sent for Haman.
Now, my queen, what is your true request?
She smiled and invited them to another banquet the next day. On the night before the second banquet, the king could not sleep. He tossed and turned. He asked for the book of the kingdom's history to be read to him. It told how Mordecai had saved the king's life.
What honor was given to this man?
Nothing has been done for him.
At that very moment, Haman walked in.
What should be done for a man the king truly wants to honor?
Haman thought, "Who would the king honor more than me?"
Let him wear the king's robe, ride the king's horse, and be led through the streets while it's proclaimed.
This is what is done for the man the king delights to honor.
Excellent. Do all of that for Mordecai the Jew.
Haman's face fell. He had to honor the man he meant to destroy.
What is your request, my queen?
If I have found favor with you, O king, grant me my life and spare my people, for I and my people have been sold to be destroyed.
Who is he? Where is the man who would dare do this?
The adversary and enemy is this wicked Haman.
Haman was hanged on the very gallows he had built for Mordecai. Because the first law could not be changed, the king gave Esther and Mordecai his ring to write a new law. This new law allowed the Jews to defend themselves against their enemies. When the terrible day came, God's people were saved. Their sorrow was turned into joy, and their weeping into celebration. Esther's brave secret was a secret no more. It was a story of hope, a story that shines forever, reminding us all that God can use anyone, even a quiet girl with a hidden heart, to do great and courageous things. From hidden heart to fearless voice, Esther changed everything. Subscribe for more timeless stories brought to life.